Welcome to Hindu Infopedia, your genuine source for social issues. Europe today is not changing by accident. It is changing by design. The fastest growing religion in Europe isn't expanding through faith or philosophy. It is expanding through numbers, through strategy, through law. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's demographic math, institutional silence, and religious doctrine at work. In this episode, we explore how doctrine meets democracy, reshaping the future of Europe one neighborhood at a time. Let's begin with the numbers, because numbers don't lie. Across Europe, native fertility has declined. Christian and secular families average 1.3 to 1.4 children per woman, well below replacement. Meanwhile, Muslim families average 2.6 to 2.9 children. In concentrated pockets, even more. In Malmö, Sweden, Muslim families average 3.4 children. Non-Muslims only 1.2. In Tower Hamlets, London, 3.6 versus 1.4. In Seine-Saint-Denis, France, a staggering 3.8 versus 1.3. But this isn't just about birth rates. It's about welfare systems that finance this growth. In Britain, France, and Germany, Muslim households show disproportionate welfare usage, with religious leaders even encouraging large families as a religious duty. Fertility becomes an economic weapon, and migration becomes hijra, a sacred obligation, not a human need. Behind these numbers lies scripture. Quranic verses like 839, 933, and 61:9. 9 don't just encourage belief, they call for dominance. And where war is not an option, numbers will suffice. This is not new. The Prophet's hijrah from Mecca to Medina is the blueprint. First migrate, then multiply, then demand. Religious leaders have spoken plainly. Erdogan told Muslims in Europe, "Have 5 children, you are the future of Europe." Sheikh Yusuf Al-Qaradawi declared, "We will conquer Europe by our birth rates." The numbers aren't random, they are theology, policy, and strategy merged. Islamic fatwas in Europe promote large families as a duty, especially in non-Muslim lands. Mosques and schools teach this as a roadmap for eventual influence. Fertility becomes an act of faith and politics. But strategy needs more than numbers. It needs stealth. That's where taqiyya comes in. While public statements emphasize integration, private sermons speak of conquest through population. European governments may not track religion, but mosque records and insider testimonies paint a different story. Dual messaging is real, hidden behind laws protecting religious freedom. And once a demographic threshold is crossed, policy begins to shift. At 10-15%, cultural sensitivity rules. At 20-25%, Sharia councils gain informal recognition. Beyond 30%, parallel legal systems begin to operate in shadow. Above 40%, Islamic legal preferences override secular norms. This isn't fear-mongering, it's already happening. In the UK, dozens of Sharia tribunals operate unofficially. In Germany, Islamic arbitration courts settle family and commercial disputes. In France, entire neighborhoods like Seine-Saint-Denis operate under informal Sharia guidance, with French police coordinating with Islamic leaders. This is not coexistence. It is replacement through accommodation. Let's look at the laboratory cities where the formula is already mature. In Malmö, Sweden, 46% of residents are of foreign origin, most from Muslim nations. Estimates place the Muslim population at over 40%, with Arabic the primary home language for 1/3 of families. By 2023, Muslim political control was achieved. Businesses, education boards, and even law enforcement began aligning with Islamic interests. This is Phase 3, economic dominance built on demographic power. In Tower Hamlets, London, the Muslim population rose from 23% to nearly 40% in 2 decades. As numbers grew, electoral victories followed. Now Islamic preferences dominate local governance, education, and policy. And in Seine-Saint-Denis, France, where precise religion stats are legally banned, indicators tell the story. Islamic schools outnumber secular ones. Arabic dominates playgrounds. Police defer to Islamic councils. And government agencies have in effect ceded authority. This is not just migration, not just integration. It's demographic conquest, legal substitution, and political takeover, guided not by random fate, but by doctrine. Europe's leaders remain silent, bound by laws they wrote and guilt they didn't outgrow. But if democracy means rule by the people, then demography decides who the people are. Doctrines like Hijra and Taqiyya aren't side issues. They are the method and the shield. Numbers decide future rulers, whether elected or inherited. Unless Europe names this pattern openly, honestly, and urgently, its cities, laws, and identity will be rewritten by those who do not share its values, but mastered how to use its freedoms. This is part 3 in our series on sacred texts versus universal rights. Join us in part 4, France's burning streets.